Chaldean Grammar, Chapter 14, the Causative. The causative, the second augmented root is the causative. The form of the causative is generally a meme plus a vowel before the root, as will be shown below. So that's the form. Let's talk about so the form, as contrasted with the intensive we talked about last chapter. The intensive form is a meme without a vowel on it. This is important to make a distinction here. The causative has a meme plus a vowel, either a or an u. We'll see the examples in a second. But the and u are on the meme itself. So a meme with a vowel on it is not an intensive, it's a causative. This is the name that we're giving. This is actually a very common name in Semitic grammars, and it's a very, very important thing in all Semitic languages. Let me just tell you right now, do not get anxious about understanding what the causative means. It is so much simpler than you think. And I've seen so many people just get really nervous. Oh, I don't know if I understand it, because you're thinking too hard. The meaning of the causative root can often be confusing to those learning Chaldean for the first time or any Semitic language, but is indicated by the name. The causative indicates causing another to do what the verb indicates. Just look at some examples. Araqli means I ran. I think we've seen this root before. Araqa, I resh qop. And here's the second, type B endings. So I ran, past tense. Mu'raqli is an example of a causative. So you have the meme plus the waw, so a meme with a vowel on it. Here's the same root as here, raqa. And then li is also the second set of endings. So this is also the past tense. What's different is this augmentation, mu'raqli. What does mu'raqli mean? Raqli means I ran. Mu'raqli means I chased or I caused, this should be past tense, I caused somebody to run. So what does mu'raqli mean? This augmentation means to cause someone to do whatever the verb is, to cause some other being than yourself to do whatever the verb is. Look at this other, bid shaqal, he will take. So here's the future tense. Bid shaqal, he will take. Bid mashqal, he will give, he will cause someone to take. So shaqal is to take, mashqal is to make somebody take, to cause somebody to take. Qana'ala, he assented. He agreed, he assented. Qana'ala. Muqna'ala, he persuaded. To persuade, muqna'ala means you made somebody assent. I convinced somebody, I persuaded somebody. Muqna'ala means I caused somebody to agree. Thele, they came. Muthele, they brought. What does it mean to bring something? You caused something to come. Ghzelan, we saw. Mughzelan, we showed. We caused somebody to see. So again, you're just taking the same verb and what is the causative? It's causing somebody to do that verb. Kdamach, he sleeps. Kmedmech, he puts to sleep. Kielpuch, we learn. Kmelpuch, we teach. Teaching is causing somebody to learn. And again, it's the same root. There's just a meme with a vowel augmenting the root. Kielpuch, kmelpuch, we learn, we teach. Alewa lochon, you rose up. Mu'alewa lochon, you raised, you caused something to rise. And this is basically universal in the language. There are a couple of examples of something that just takes the causative form, but this is not like the intensive. This is, theoretically, you could take almost any verb and put it in a causative form, and people are going to understand that what you mean is you're causing somebody to do or something to do this verb. Okay. If you still don't get it, just give yourself some time to let it soak in. This is very, very new to people that don't know Semitic languages, but it isn't hard. It's not confusing. Just kind of Take it slowly, try to understand it. Don't panic. I've seen people panic. I don't get the causative. Yes, you do. Just slow down. Let yourself just understand what's going on here. All right. Practicing both the conjugation and the use of these concepts will help you understand the causative better over time. All right. Here's some conjugation. So now let's look at the full fleshed out form of this. Here's the full present tense conjugation of a causative strong verb. Just using the example to chase. Raqa is to run. Ma'riq is to chase. So here's the present tense. Kma'arqan. Kma'arqan. Kma'arqat. Kma'arqat. Kma'riq. Kma'arqa. Kma'arquch. Kma'arqutun. Kma'arqi. As you'd expect, the kap still means the present tense. It's still the first set of endings. It's still the root. The only thing that's new is a meme with a vowel on it, added to the root. Augmented to the root is a meme with a vowel. If there's no vowel, then you're not talking about this. You're talking about the intensive. That's last chapter. It's a meme with a vowel. The present perfect is as you'd expect. Kma'arqanwa. Nothing new here. The subjunctive, ma'arqan. Just take the kap off. The future tense, as you guess, bid ma'arqan. Bid ma'arqan. Bid ma'arqat. And so on. So the new thing is not the endings or the bid. The new thing is just the meme with the vowel added to the root. And the meaning, what does it mean? It's causing somebody to run away. Here's the past tense, exactly as you'd guess, except in this case, instead of the ma vowel, it becomes mu. But still, we consider this wow is on this meme. So here is the past tense conjugation of to chase, mu'riqli, mu'riqluch, mu'riqlach, mu'riqle, mu'riqla, mu'riqlan, mu'riqlochun, mu'riqle. As you'd expect, type B endings, the mu at the beginning and the root. And again, every causative, and there's going to be lots of examples of this at the end of the chapter to practice this with, and it's going to fit into this pattern. Past perfect, mu'riqwali, as you'd guess. Nothing special. The imperative, ma'riq, and as you'd guess, ma'arqu. Okay. You want to tell somebody, you want to command somebody to chase somebody else, ma'riq. Commanding a bunch of people, ma'arqu. So the causative is not an imperative. It's not a command somebody to do it. It's you're causing them to do that verb. And then the infinitive, ma'roqe, iwin ma'roqe. And it follows that full thing that we learned in the chapter on the infinitive. Okay. First week, let's look at some exceptions with these weak verbs. First week, so a verb with the first radical as an elep or a yod. First week verbs lose their weak radical in most cases. The cause, it just goes away. So to teach, so the root is yalip, is to learn. Molip is to teach. So here is the present tense conjugation. Kmelpen. So that elep just goes away. We don't even write it. Kmelpen. So there's a hidden elep here if you want to find the root. Or it's actually a hidden yod. Ilip, yalip. Okay. Kmelpen. I cause somebody to learn. I teach. Do you see how that's different than commanding somebody to learn? I'm causing them to learn. It's not the same as commanding them. I'm actually making them learn. Kmelpen, kmelpan, kmelpet, kmelpat, kmolip. Here's an exception. Kmolip, the o. So it's not an a here, it's an o. Kmolip, kmelpa, kmelpuch, kmelputun, kmelpi. Kap is present tense indicator, type A endings. Everything else is normal. Meme with a vowel on it goes at the beginning. The first week radical just goes away. That's the new thing to learn here. The present perfect, subjunctive, and future are formed accordingly. I'm not even going to type them out. You should know. Kmelpenwa. Melpen is the subjunctive. The future, bid melpen. You should be able to do this by now. Past tense, again, is not very surprising. It becomes a u, mu, a second set of endings, type B endings. The alep is still gone. So it's mulipli, I taught. Mulipluch, muliplach, muliple, mulipla, muliplan, muliplochun, muliplay. Okay, there's the past tense. The imperative, molip. I want to command somebody to teach. Molip. And then plural, melpu. There's a little bit of a vowel shift here. Molip, melpu. The infinitive, molope. Okay. Hollow verbs, they're similar to first week. So this is a hollow verb. So this is the root here is qop, waw, mim. So it's hollow because the middle radical is weak. So qayim means to stand. Maqam means to keep something standing, make something stand, to uphold. Okay, maqam means to cause something to stand. To uphold, it could even mean to pick something up, right? So, kmaqiman. So this is interesting. That waw turns into a hwasa here, the E sound. Okay, so kmaqiman, kmaqiman, kmaqimat, kmaqimat, kmaqam. So it goes away here. Kmaqam, kmaqima, kmaqimuch, kmaqimutun, kmaqimi. Get rid of the kaf to get a subjunctive. Add a wa to make it present perfect. Make it bid maqiman to make it future. All normal. Past tense. The root, the weak root letter, the weak radical goes away, completely goes away. And again, this becomes mu in the past tense. Muqamli, muqamluch, muqamlach, muqamle, muqamla, muqamlan, muqamlochun, muqamlay. That's not very surprising, as usual. Second set of type B endings and so on. Okay. The imperative, maqam. The imperative plural, maqimu. So the root letter comes back in the plural, and then the familiar u. And then maqome is the infinitive. So all hollow verbs would follow this form. Third week, there's a lot in this chapter, but I think we're going pretty fast, so it's okay. The present tense is as expected. Note especially the other occurring in the feminine singular form. So nothing is very surprising here, but let's take a look at the third week. So the root here is shta, sheen, tau, elep, to drink. Meshte means to water or to give drink, to give something a drink or to water the plants. So kmeshtin, I water or I give something to drink. Kmeshtin, kmeshitian. So here, that final elep comes back in the feminine. This is normal in the third week. We've seen this before, but I'm just pointing it out again. Kmeshtit, kmeshitiat. There's a kind of silent, like a little tiny vowel here. Kmeshit, kmeshitiat. Kmeshtit, kmeshitiat. Kmeshte, kmeshitia. There, I typed it out. I guess I just missed it there. Kmeshtuch, kmeshtutun, kmeshti, or kmeshta. Okay, there's your present tense. As usual, I'm not even explaining anymore. Get rid of the kap for a subjunctive. Add a bid for the future. Add wa for perfect tenses. Here's the past tense. You have this, the other showing up in spelling at least. Mushteli, mushteluch, mushtelach, mushtele, mushtela, mushtelan, mushtelochin, mushtele. Past tense. The imperative, meshti, commanding somebody to water. Meshte, the feminine. Meshto. These endings are very regular, very normal for this third week. And then you have the meme with a vowel on it. And then the infinitive, meshtoye. Okay. Lots and lots of vocab to practice this with. Let's go through it and let's see if we can name or understand what the non-causative form would be. So mabhar, mabhore is to brighten. Bahara is to shine. Mabir is to cause something to shine. Medmich, medmoche is to put to sleep. Get rid of the meme and the vowel. You have damich, which means to sleep. Mahwe, mahwoye is to bear children. Hawe is it means to be, but it also means, we saw in an earlier chapter, it means to be born. So to be born is hawe. Mahwe is to cause somebody to be born or to bear a child. Mode, modoye is to confess. This has an interesting root. The root of this is either, or either even, which is to know something. Mode is to make something known or to confess it. I'm going to make known that I have this faith in something, whatever. Mochel, mochole is to feed. The root of this is achel. Alep kap lamad. Achel is to eat. Mochel is to feed, to cause somebody to eat. Molep, molope, we saw, means teach. The root is ilep, which is to learn. So molep is to cause somebody to teach. Maume, momoye, is to cause somebody to swear, like to promise. I swear, on my life or whatever. So ima is to swear. Yod mim elep is to I swear on the Bible that something something. Mome is to cause somebody to swear. Moqid, moqode is to cause to burn. Iqid, yod, qop, dalath is to burn. So qidle, iqidle, qidle is when something's burning. Muqidle is I made it burn. In English, I burned it. I burned down the house and the house burned. It's exactly the same word that has two different meanings. Maybe you didn't notice that in English. The house burned and I burned the house. It's the same verb. Chaldean is actually a little bit more precise there. It's a different verb. I caused it to burn. Mezid, mezod, to increase, to cause something to get bigger. Zidle, here's the root, zid, zod, it's a hollow verb, is to get bigger. Mezid is to make something get bigger, to cause it to increase. Mezde, mezdoe is to frighten somebody. The root is zade, to be afraid. So frighten is to cause somebody to be afraid. You see how this is nonstop. Every single example so far, it really does work, and it really is a causative. Machwe, machwoye is to show. Chawi, it's rare in spoken Chaldean, but chawi means to sort of be shown, to be revealed. Machwi is to cause something to be shown, to show. Maghze, maghzoye is also to show. The root is ghza, to see. Maghze is to make somebody see. Mahke, mahkoye, talk. Okay, this is an exception. This is not actually a causative. There's no root. Hka. So this is just the word for talk. Mahke just takes a causative form, and that's just the only version of this root that's actually at least currently being used. Maybe there's some ancient root haki, but right now there isn't one. Makle, makloye, so you have a third week, is to stop. Kla, okay, so this is, again, English is our problem here. Kale, kla, is to stop. Makle means to cause somebody to stop. In English, I stopped walking. I stopped him from walking. Stopped is exactly the same verb. It means two different things in English, but it's the same sound. So this is a problem in English. This I should have written to cause somebody to stop. Makle, makloye. So again, Semitic languages have a kind of precision that at least English doesn't have here. Makriz, makroze, to preach. There is an ancient root kariz, but it's really not used in Chaldean. This is really the only form you're going to find in spoken Chaldean. Makriz, makroze. Meluish, meluoshe, to clothe. Lawish means to put on clothes. Meluish means to clothe somebody. Okay. Lots of examples. Mundhif means to clean. Mvafa means to become clean. So navafa means to be clean, to be cleaned. Manzif means to clean something, to cause something to be clean. Menshoye, to make somebody forget. Nashe, nshaya, it's a weak verb. Nshaya means to forget. Menshe means to make forget. Meswe means to satisfy. Sawe means to be full, to be satisfied. Meswe means to satisfy, to cause somebody to be satisfied. Mesle, mesloye, to despise. There is a root here, slaya. It's not really used very often, and it has kind of a different meaning, which I'm not going to get into here. But mesle means to despise somebody. Ma'abar, ma'abore, means to let enter. Abar means to, it actually means to let enter or to let somebody cross. Abar means to cross. Ma'abar means to let somebody cross. Ma'ale, we already saw. Ma'aloye is to raise. Ale means to go up. Ma'ale means to raise. So rise means, ma'ale means rise. Ma'ale means raise. It's an interesting use of a causative form in English. This is actually a causative verb in English, raise. Ma'amid is to baptize. Amid is to be baptized. Ma'amid is to baptize. Ma'riq, we talked about, chase, and ariq is run. Ma'tiq, ma'toqe is to make old. I don't know how often you'd use that. Atiq means to become old. Ma'tiq is to make old. Mapsakh is to please or gladden. Pasakh is to be happy. So mapsakh is to make somebody happy. Maqam is to raise. So qam is to stand or to stand. Maqam is to make something stand. Maqna' is to convince. We already saw this. Qani' is to be convinced. Marwoye is to educate or to grow a plant. To raise, really, maybe the best translation of marwe is to raise something. Not in the sense of raise it up here or raise it up here. I guess, okay, let me clarify. Ma'ale means to raise something up, like physically, vertically. Maqam means to stand something up that's like tilted over. Maqame is to, sort of make it upright. Marwe means to raise like a child. You're raising children, you're marwoye. There's a much more, these are more precise than I'm implying by this. So make a note of that in your book. So marwoye is to educate or to grow a plant. Ruwaya, resh beth alap, means to grow, as in my child is growing. Marwoye is I am, raising my child. Marthach is to boil, not only water, to boil anything. Rafacha is the thing is boiling. So the water is boiling is rafacha. I am boiling some water, marthoche. To water or give drink, we saw meshte. The root is shate, is to drink. Meshte is to give drink. Methbit, methbote is to prove. That's your thabit, I guess, is for it to be settled. And methbit is to prove or to settle something. Okay, lots of vocab here. Nouns, gumla is camel, gupta is cheese, garma is bone, gishra is bridge. These are nice words. Hemtha is anger. Yausha is dry land. Yulpana is learning. Sepa is sword or sepa. Siptha is lip. So it could be lip as in your body part. The plural is sipwatha. It's a feminine plural. Siptha can also mean like the edge of something, like the edge of the table. It could be the edge of like could be like a beach. Sipthidyama would be like the edge of the water, the edge of the sea. Omqa is a depth. Omra is a dwelling. Basra is meat. You also hear it sometimes pronounced bisra, but basra or bisra. Qudasha is a hallowing or a sanctification. Qurbana is an offering or the Eucharist. Lachma or luchma, both valid pronunciations. Lachma or luchma, bread. Mdabranutha is providence. Nuiya is a prophet. Nahra or Nehra is a river. Qutma is ashes. You'll also hear this pronounced Qutma. Qutma or Qutma is ashes. Sheol is Hades. Sheol, it's a Hebrew word. You hear it in English sometimes. Shamasha is a deacon or a subdeacon, more precisely, or a server. Shimsha is the sun. Keapana is stony. Kitwana is thorny. Swadhaya is the vernacular, so a spoken language. Swadhaya. Samana is poisonous. Rechana or Rehana is sweet smelling. Shimshaya is solar. Exercises, conjugate, practice, write what the verbs in the vocabulary might mean in their non-causative form. I already did that as I went through them, but maybe try to do it on your own, try to remember. It might be a good way to understand what the causative is. Translated in English, Yimmen kum maklalan, kum makhlalan, Basra, Ugupta, Uswelan, and so on. Translate those. Translate in the Chaldean. Write some sentences. I encourage you to use the causative as much as you can as you're writing this so that you can learn it. Next chapter, object endings and the deponent verbs. This is actually the last hard chapter. After that, it should be pretty simple. So we're almost there, guys. See you next time.